Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another Fool's Gold review, and this time it's Justice League issue 59 by Brian Michael Bendis, with art by Marquez and Bonvillain. Okay, so just a fair idea as to how Fool's Gold works. I rate it in regards to cover, art and story and how much I think they're worth, but also looking at the worth of this comic in itself, and that's where that's where I bring out how much I think the comic's worth to how much I actually paid for. As you can see, it's $4.99, but it does include a backup story, which is Justice League Dark. Best thing about this so far is probably the backup story. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but for the currency conversion, overall it is $4.99 in the US, being $8.95 in Australian dollars. So does this cover in any way help show the formation as to how this story will come about? Well, yes and no. To which I gave the cover a 5 out of 10. Don't get me wrong, I do actually enjoy the art that's been done on the cover, but does it actually help in regards to the story? Yes and no. But one thing that should be changed in this cover is with Naomi at the front, she should actually be at the back. Why? Because she's at the back of the story. So let's move into the internal art for its review. How much did I enjoy it? Starting off with the art around the beginning. I must admit, this art, along with the colours by Bonvillain, is absolutely incredible, and I really enjoyed it within the story. And this is just some of the art around the beginning. I will now move to the middle. This is some art around the middle. Absolutely incredible, as well as enjoyable. So I think the scripting done for this was really well, and I really hope Brian Michael Bendis also took some pointers from his artists as how to make this more appealing. I'll now move towards some art around the end. And this is some of the art around the end. I must admit, I really did like it, and it seemed to be quite consistent in quite a number of places. To which I gave the art 7 out of 10. Now, I don't think I brought up how much I thought the cover was worth. But I'll add it alongside with the art. So for the cover art, which I gave 5 out of 10, I believe it's worth $1. And moving into the actual art, which I gave it a 7 out of 10, to which I believe it's worth $1.50. Now this is where the big important thing takes place, because I want to see this story rating on Brian Michael Bendis' stories, because a number of them have actually been marked low. And I feel I was maybe a little bit too generous in what I gave it in story rating, but we'll soon get to that as I bring things back to the front cover again. So this story, as you like to know, I like to look out for certain things within my story. Cast of characters, so we know who's who. Locations, so we know where it's taking place. Time, when it is taking place. And if there are any comic or important comic references that might either connect to a character within the comic, within the comic, or characters per se. So more than one character. So I'm going to address the elephant in the room. There was no pointing out as to when this was taking place in regards to time. In fact, there was none at all, as well as no comic references. Not impressed. Where's that editor of yours? Have they gone on holiday? Have they caught COVID and died on us? I don't know where they are. No, it wouldn't have helped. It would have helped to sort of like have this be brought in, especially if you want to bring more money towards one of your creations, because this story does in fact address Naomi, and having a comic reference to maybe the Naomi trade paperback wouldn't go astray. Not only would it bring more money to you, but it would also bring attention to more of the character. And this is why I do, in a way, criticize this. Because I want to see good comic references in a story. And I also want to see Brian Michael Bendis succeed in his storytelling. Well, let's move to the next thing. Where did we go to location-wise? Well, I'll say one thing. Brian Michael Bendis did sort of help us here in the storytelling, and he did give us locations. We got Kandak, we got the Hall of Justice. We of course got this the area of the sea where Aquaman was in, and Port Oswego, Oregon, to which Naomi is located. With the cast of characters, we got Black Adam, Superman, Aquaman, Hawkgirl, Batman, of course the new antagonist, Brutus, to which they feel a little bit more likable, but not ultimately likable at the moment. Whether they're a villain or not, we don't know. So that's sort of like left up in the air. But it was, I think, a bit of a clearer interaction between this particular character and the heroes. We, of course, got Green Arrow, Black Canary, The Flash, Naomi, and I cannot forget to include Kellex. So, what did I give the story rating? I feel I'm being very generous with this, and I don't want to see it go to waste. So, Brian Michael Bendis, I want to see your storytelling. Because of how this story started, I really don't want to see it flop. And I don't want to see you staying in the Fool's Gold reviews forever. I'd still point out to the watchers of my channel, if you want to pick up some great Brian Michael Bendis, check out his Powers run. It's actually something of his that I really enjoy. It's connected to Jinx World, and I would recommend that over this. Yes, it's set in his own world, but it's a little bit more understandable. And not only that, let me also include, you can see his passion in the writing and his love for the characters. More in Powers than what you do in a lot of his mainstream that I have personally read. So, in this story, we of course meet Black Adam, and Black Adam ends up encountering Brutus. Not long after that, Superman and the Justice League turn up in appearance to try to help remedy the situation. They then return to home base at the Hall of Justice, and they learn that where this character Brutus comes from also carries a similar energy signature to where Naomi comes from. One good thing I want to state in this as well is that I really liked that Brian Michael Bendis actually put Naomi not at the beginning of the book, but actually at the end of this book, or the end of this story. And it's going to be interesting as to how he brings it across in the next issue. And if he can increase the validity of his storytelling to where Naomi isn't always front and center. In other words, platform to the point that you absolutely get sick of the character and also sick of the story writing. I could see Brian Michael Bendis leave the area of Fool's Gold and start to turn up in my normal comic reviews. And that's what I want to see. If you can at least get 7 and above in just the storytelling alone, but also remembering the references that I also enjoy, it could mean that he could leave this area sooner rather than later. Well, until then, please don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until then, let's keep it colourful. If you've now made it to the end of this video, have yourself an awesome day.